Hey, how's it going? My name's Daniel. I'm a professional penetration tester, and today I just want to showcase something that I learned the other day. How to bypass Microsoft Defender using a really cool tool called ThreatCheck, made by Mouse. So let's get started. As you can see, I've got a little flowchart here, and it pretty much explains the entire process. It's extremely simple. So this is you here. You have a script. This could be a PowerShell script, VBS script, something along those lines. And then you pass that over to ThreatCheck. And ThreatCheck will tell you if Windows Defender picked up any malicious code or content in the file. And it'll tell you exactly where that malicious content was detected. So once you've run it through ThreatCheck, you'll find exactly where that bad code is. You can just open up that script, copy and paste that code into an AI chatbot like Perplexity or ChatGPT, something like that, or Claude, and then ask it to rewrite that code in a way that is equivalent but different, so that same detection won't be triggered. So then you go and patch that code into your script that the AI gave you, and you run that same script through ThreatCheck once again. And eventually, after going through the cycle again and again, you'll end up with no detections from ThreatCheck. So there's one caveat. AI code is not perfect, so it might end up breaking your script, but you can try and debug it, right? So just make sure that along the way your script is still working as you intended, and then eventually it'll work for you. So that's the process. Have a script run through ThreatCheck, find the bad code, ask AI to edit it, patch your script, run it through ThreatCheck again. Eventually, you'll have a script that's working and not detected. So we'll go through this and demo it. I have a virtual machine here. It's Windows 11, latest version. It has all the updated Microsoft Defender signatures and detections. And I'm going to try and get this PowerShell reverse shell script past Microsoft Defender. So to get this PowerShell script, you just go to revshells.com, PowerShell number 1. This script is being used by thousands of people, and Microsoft Defender is well aware of this script. So all I did, I just put my IP address of my listener in there and the port, copy and paste this code, and that ends up looking like this after you indent it and make it look nice, just so it's readable. So that's original.ps1. And I have that stored here in desktop dev bypass defender, original.ps1. So this folder is actually a Defender exclusion. So it's not being scanned by antivirus right now. But just to show you what would happen if it was being scanned, I'm going to copy and paste it onto desktop, open in terminal. Then we'll go with PowerShell EP bypass F original.ps1. Operation did not complete successfully because the file contains a virus or potentially unwanted software. And that's exactly what we want to avoid. So we can get rid of that. And there you can see that it even got nuked by Defender. It's been deleted already. I've turned off Defender notifications, so that's why we didn't see anything. But yeah, anyways. Dev bypass Defender, original, that's this. We're just going to make a copy of that and call it shell. And we can open that in Sublime Text. So as you can see, exactly the same thing. Now, if we ran shell on the desktop, we would get the exact same error, that it's malicious. Now let's take a look at ThreatCheck. Mouse ThreatCheck on GitHub. This tool's really cool. What it does, it takes in your script, or it takes in a binary and breaks it up into parts. Then it'll run those parts through Defender and tell you when Defender detects a malicious line of code or malicious content. And it'll tell you exactly where in that file that content was found. So all you need to do is you just go and clone this Git repo, then you get Visual Studio 2022, then you build the solution, and you'll have a release binary. So desktop tools, this is the repo. You just open this in Studio, ThreatCheck, binary, release, and this is the built version for my computer. So I've added this to the path environment variable, so I can call ThreatCheck from anywhere in terminal, and we can get started. So let's go back to where we were. Dev defender shell. We have our script here. We can open a terminal, and we can put this script through ThreatCheck, threatcheck.exe, EAMSI, and fshell.ps1. And there's a detection at 220 in hex, and that is here, get string. This get string. Well, just this entire line of code, really. So we can go back to our code here, code, get string. All we need to do, it's this simple. Copy, go to your favorite AI chatbot. Please rewrite this PowerShell with a function. Copy your code in there, and it'll give you a function. Now we can take that function here, put it in to our code, and then it gives us an equivalent line of code that uses that function. And we can just replace this. And then we have an equivalent line of code that does the same thing, but it won't trigger the defender detection. And now we can go back to ThreatCheck, run it again, and we see we get a different offset. Now that might be because we changed the file, so it would be further down the file, but it's not actually, because we can see here that it's this output line of code that triggered the detection, and that is this. So we just copy that, go back to Perplexity, and this one. And it does the same thing for us. Copy that, put that in here, go back to Perplexity, get this function call, and replace our line of code. Easy as that. Save the file, go back to ThreatCheck, run it again, and no threats are found. And that's exactly what we're waiting for. We go through this cycle, making sure that the code is still working, but it's an equivalent, but it's different, so that ThreatCheck comes back with no detections, because Defender doesn't have the signatures for this new code that we've come up with using our AI chatbot. So now, all we need to do is test it. So we take shell, we go to desktop, place it there. I don't think it's going to get nuked. But as I said at the beginning, we're on a VM right now. So I can go onto my host and open up a listener using that port that I specified in the reverse shell script on revshells.com. And then I'll move that to the side for now. And we'll open up a terminal on the desktop. Shell is still there. PowerShell EP bypass f shell.ps1. And this should work now. We get a connection received on 192.168.1.105. That is the Windows VM. And now we can go, who am I? Windows. Daniel, rpconfig, and there it is. That's the Windows machine. I can open up a CMD here, rpconfig, just to confirm. 105 it is the same host. And it's as simple as that. You start with your script. You use ThreatCheck to check where is the bad code in the script according to Defender. You go and find that line of code. You ask AI to edit it. You patch your script. You run it through ThreatCheck again. And eventually you'll have no detections and you'll have an undetected script that you can go and use on a Microsoft Windows victim machine. I was really stoked when I learned about this in the CRTO course by Mouse. I'll link that in the description. I highly recommend it. I haven't actually written the exam yet, but this just got me really excited. So I thought I would showcase it. Yeah. Thanks for watching and happy hacking.